So we've been all watching lumber prices for the last month or two, and they've been down quite a bit, almost 50% reduction in lumber prices. And a lot of what's on everybody's mind is, what does that mean for the building industry? What's going to happen in the future? And whether you are a general contractor, whether you work for a contractor, maybe you're a homeowner that wants to do a renovation project. Let's take a look at the metrics of what has been happening and what is expected to happen in the future and what might kind of be hidden behind the scenes. First of all, what's behind all this? Well, interest rates have gone up and home prices have gone up. That being said, some builders are starting to put a little bit of a pause on doing large-scale subdivision developments. We're seeing that in all the markets that we keep an eye on, where some builders are slowing down the process. However, it doesn't change the fact that people want to be homeowners, right? People want to be an owner of where they live, not a renter of where they live. And over the last 2-3 years, it's been very difficult to become a homeowner. First of all, there was no inventory. People had difficulty even buying a house at any price. And then the prices went up to where houses that were $250, $300 were now $500, $550. And how did that affect buyers? Well, they cried. Half of U.S. home buyers are crying during the process. In a survey, 65% of Gen Z home buyers are brought to tears during their house hunt. And on the seller side, 60% of sellers reporting getting at least 2 offers on their homes. And this was just last month. This was April. So this is not old news from 2021. People want to buy houses. And even those in the real estate industry, you've all heard of Barbara Corcoran on Shark Tank, big real estate retail company owner, says you have to get in the game. You have to get in with whatever house you can buy so you have a chip to play in the game and trade up and trade up. And that's true. That's why people want to be homeowners. And if you think about it, even if there's a slight pause in the construction and real estate market right now, it's really just buyers and sellers catching their breath and builders. The prices zoomed up so fast, the interest rates went up so fast, it does not change the number of people who want to buy a home. You just have to absorb and get used to the higher price point. Either get used to a higher price point or get used to a lower house point. That's what I think is happening. People are starting to look at, well, maybe I should get a cheaper house. Maybe you won't have granite countertops, marble floors, all of the upgrades that go into a higher end home. In fact, some builders have stopped doing pre-sales. They're building just on spec because they know it's going to sell. In fact, if you do a contract today for a certain amount, let's say $350 for a house, by the time it's done 6 or 8 months later, first of all, you might find that your cost basis for materials, labor, appliances, subcontractors have gone up so much that your cost basis means you have to now sell it for $400 to make a profit. So instead of being faced with that and having to cancel the contract with their buyer, many builders are just going to spec homes. And spec homes used to be a dirty word because you didn't want to have your money on speculation. You wanted to have a deal done on that house. But now it's really, you have nothing to lose as a builder. In fact, everything to gain. Because you don't have to customize the house to the whim of the buyer. You can build it to whatever builder grade you want. You can build it using materials you can get. Look, if the customer wants a certain color of, blackened stainless steel for their appliances and they're out of stock, or a certain type of garage door, and you can't get it, now you can't close out that home until that item is in stock. But if you can build it with the windows and doors and things you can get from your supplier or your lumber house, now you can finish that home. It's a brand new house. Person's going to buy it anyway. And you know what your cost basis is when you price it. With lumber prices as volatile as they are, sometimes you don't know what your cost basis will be until you're done, until you swing the last nail, put the last coat of paint. So pre-sales may be a thing of the past for homes. Although for cars, it's going to be the only way to buy afterwards. What about inflation? And we'll get to lumber prices in a minute. Well, investors might be in for a rude surprise. History shows inflation can take years to return to normal, even when the Fed hikes interest rates above 10%. So this is a premonition about interest rates and inflation. It says that we might see interest rates at 10% for mortgages. We've talked about that in other videos, even on some of our other channels, that we expect single family home 30-year mortgage rates will be at 10% within 24 months. By the end of 2024, you'll see interest rates at double digits for single family homes. Now that it's going to affect the mortgage payment cost for many buyers. It may also affect the sales rate, meaning that how many houses are sold. It probably won't affect the price. The prices of these homes will probably stay the same, maybe drift up a little more. They may not spike up 20% again, but they're not going to go down. Part of the reason is inventory will continue to shrink. There will be a little bit of a flood of people looking to sell right now that were holding off because they thought the market was going to go up. They might see a little fear right now as interest rates rise, thinking I better sell before the market goes down. But once everybody sees the market's still not going to go down, it'll be back to normal short inventory. Part of the reason is unless the person selling is selling a second home that they're not replacing, it's very difficult to justify selling your house with a 2 or 3 or 4% mortgage when you know you're going to have to buy a house and pay 8 or 9 or 10% mortgage. That new house better be just blow your doors in, because you're going to double your mortgage payment for the same house. So many people are not going to look to sell. What about lumber prices? Here we go. Lumber prices continue to splinter, dropped 47% since March. It's 2-3 months. About $700 a foot, or 1,000 board feet. And that's a big drop from the high. It's still above the trading range that lumber's been in for the last decade. Lumber's been between $300 and $500 per 1,000 board feet for a decade plus. Even though it's down from its high of 1,400 and change, it's still at 700 from the high of 500. That's like a 40% increase. So you can talk about a 47% drop all you want. It's still 40% above where it has been for the last decade. And this 695 we expect is short term. It may drop down again towards 600. But within a year, maybe by the end of this year, it'll be back up in the $800-900 range. We've talked about that before. Why is that? Well, because inflation doesn't go away. This is a temporary thing where maybe builders are pulling back a little bit, and some of the home renovations are slowing down because people are not sure what's going to happen next. And here's the big elephant in the room for builders. More of a factor than lumber prices. Labor. Workforce shortage in the construction industry. You need 650,000 more people in the building industry right now. Construction industry will need to attract 650,000 additional workers on top of the normal pace of hiring to meet the demand for labor. Not enough people that can build houses, that can do the trades. And that also doesn't count the fact that there's some Investment in Jobs Act and stimulus and infrastructure governmental forces coming in to even add more pressure on the building industry. And this is a time when many people are getting out of the building industry. Concern, decline of the number of construction workers aged 25 to 54, which fell 8%. See, these are the people that should be coming into the business that will fill up in the next couple years. It fell 8%. This should go up. Older workers exiting the workforce. Well, that's going to happen. it gets harder to do. You get sore, bad back, those kind of things. The 650,000 workers must quickly acquire specialized skills. That's the other problem. You don't just walk in to the construction industry and know what you're doing. You have to acquire skills, and that takes time. And the workforce mentality right now is you don't want to take time to learn something. If you don't learn it right away, you're going to quit. It's a very, very serious problem, bigger than the lumber problem, because the lumber problem goes up and down. This is a permanent thing. So tell us what you think in the comments. Is this something that you are aware of? Is it something that you see in your industry? Something you see as a home builder? Maybe you're a consumer that is looking to add on to your house or remodel your house. Maybe you're looking to get into the construction industry. Put your comments below. Let us know what you think. The home building economy is going through an upheaval, and not in a way that's going to cut costs. Actually, costs are probably going to go up, which no matter how you slice it, will bake itself into the price of a new house for years to come.